You might remember this giant comic book from my video about Walt Disney's Babes in Toyland. And this is really this great giant comic book. But as I said in the video, Babes in Toyland was covered in a lot of ways in publications. And here we have one of the two little golden books that was published about Babes in Toyland. This reminds me of the great variety that is to be found in the subject matter of little golden books. Just to take a look at a few here, we have Spider-Man, Howdy Doodle, Howdy Doody, Garfield, Finding Nemo, and Mickey and Friends. This one is Let's Go to the Vet. It's always great to see Daisy Duck featured. But perhaps of all the little golden book subjects, one of the most unexpected is not Disney properties, because there's plenty of Disney little golden books, like Babes in Toyland, like Mickey and Friends, but Disney live action films, which of course Babes in Toyland is one of. So let's take a look today at 5 little golden books that are about Disney live action films. This Babes in Toyland title is fun because it focuses on the toy soldiers and the battle between Tom Piper and Barnaby, who is the villain. And really that's what this whole book is about. It focuses on what is probably the most famous sequence in the movie, which is the March of the Wooden Soldiers. That piece of music and the wonderful stop motion animation that was done by Bill Justice and Ex Atencio. And the art in this book is really fun. Look at the different angles and how spectacular. I really like how a little golden book can focus in on one sequence rather than tell the whole story of the film. Really fun. But Babes in Toyland is a very cartoony movie, so is it a surprise that there's a little golden book? In fact, 2 about Babes in Toyland? Maybe not. But what about a Disney film that's all about real-life animals, like Perri and Her Friends? This is one of Walt Disney's most beautiful and not all that well-known film. It's based on a book by Felix Salten, and he's the author of Bambi. So 2 great Disney films, one animated, one live action about forest animals. And Perri, of course, is this little squirrel. And one thing that makes this little golden book in particular very unique is that instead of illustrations and paintings and art, we have photographs, just like on the cover, photographs from the film of all the wildlife and their forest home. And it even says here, illustrated with Kodachromes from the Walt Disney Motion Picture. And the photographers are credited. The contribution of the following photographers is acknowledged with thanks. And then they're listed. And some of them, such as N. Paul Kenworthy Jr., are from the True Life Adventures, Walt Disney's documentary nature films. And another name that is familiar, Roy E. Disney. He was very important in the production of Perri. And of course, Roy E. Disney was involved in many of the True Life Adventure films. But this, of course, was billed as Walt Disney's True Life Fantasy because it told a fictional story. All the animals had names, and it told the whole story of Perri's life in the forests. And these photographs really make this little golden book quite unique. So, a little golden book about a Walt Disney film with animals, but what about one with animals and live actors? Well, we have Old Yeller. Were you expecting to see a little golden book about Old Yeller? Maybe, maybe not, but here it is. Really wonderful illustrations about this fantastic film. One of Walt Disney's best live action films. Captures a lot of the action and the adventure and the atmosphere. And again, this little golden book focuses in on one aspect of the story, which is how Arliss came to own Old Yeller because remember, his owner shows up. Old Yeller was sort of a stray. Eventually, it turns out that Travis and Arliss get to keep Old Yeller. And it's probably a good thing that this little golden book, which was produced for young children, does not include the end of the film. Spoiler alert, well, I can't bring myself to say it, but if you've seen Old Yeller, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, watch it, but be ready for a good cry at the end. So little golden books focusing in on animals and people. What about one of Walt Disney's films that's all about people? Could there be a little golden book about that subject? Yes, Pollyanna. And again, we have some wonderful paintings that tell this charming period story about the little girl who plays the glad game, always finding something to be glad about, and really changes an entire small town for the better. All the charming, colorful characters, and of course focusing on Pollyanna, played in the movie by Haley Mills. And this little golden book does do a good job of telling really the entire story, the main plot, and bringing in a lot of details like the prisms that paint rainbows on the walls, as Pollyanna put it. One of Walt Disney's loveliest and best live-action films, and here we have a little golden book about it. But what about a live-action film that's like an epic action adventure? There wouldn't be a little golden book about that subject, would there? Well, there is. Swiss Family Robinson, a movie that was filmed in Panavision to capture all the action and the scenery of the shipwrecked family on this tropical island. And of course, we have to see the building of the famous treehouse. The book focuses on the building of the treehouse with an emphasis on little Francis, played by Moochie, getting the animals to help build the treehouse. And of course, here it is on the front cover. One great thing I can tell you, by the way, about Swiss Family Robinson is that Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly, as well as Aaron Wolcott, are writing a book about Swiss Family Robinson because they are such experts about this great movie that they even went to the island of Tobago to scout out the actual locations and what's left of the tree, and even tracking down the tree where the tree house had really been built. So we have that to look forward to. And I can't wait to see that book. Now, if you haven't seen these movies and want to see them, or you just want to see them again, good for you, because they bear repeating, like any classic film. Each of these movies is available on Disney+. And a few of them even got the Walt Disney Deluxe DVD treatment. Here's Swiss Family Robinson. Here is Pollyanna, and also Old Yeller. And the great thing about the Walt Disney releases is that they had all kinds of bonus features. How do I know? Because I was lucky enough to work on these 3 releases. So I highly recommend them, especially if you like the behind-the-scenes material and information that these special DVDs offer. And if you like the topic of today's video and you're hoping I'll be revisiting Little Golden Books, don't worry, I have a few more. See you next time.